What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are finishing our look at BT5 and all of the cards from BT5 by having a little bit of a look at some lovely option cards that have been revealed. We've got option cards to have a little bit of a look at. So let's take a look at a red option card, the lovely named Rowdy Rocker. Yeah, this one looks kind of fun. So what we've got here is a 2-cost red option card. As a security, you just add it to your hand, which I'm not usually a huge fan of, but it's cheap and you can save it for the right time, so it could be worse. And when you play it, you may place one red level 4 or lower Digimon card from your hand under one of your Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card, and if you do, draw 2 cards. I mean, straight off the bat, drawing 2 cards is absolutely brilliant. Digimon is really not a game where we get to draw 2 cards very often at all. Boring Storm, if it comes out as a security card, will do it. We've also seen Nuclear Laser, which will allow you to draw 2 cards. And we've also seen Heir of Dragons, which also will allow you to draw 2 cards. So if you do want to be drawing 2, I mean, red is very much the colour that you want to be looking for here. But just drawing 2 cards is awesome. You'll also notice that the other red cards we've seen that draw 2 are 3-cost cards, whereas this comes in as a 2-cost card. So that alone should make you pretty gosh darn happy here. You're drawing cards a little bit more cheaply, and frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this is a pretty gosh darned good thing. But this is not the only thing that this actually does. It also lets you put a level 4 or lower Digimon below one of your Digimon. And it is awesome. Now, to be fair, that means if you don't have a level 4 or lower Digimon in hand, or, one that you're willing to put down, that does mean you're not going to be able to draw the 2, so you need to build your deck correctly in that manner. But, yeah, this is going to really, really help. Like, kind of ridiculously so. I mean, remember now, anytime you've got a Digiburst skill, this is going to come in rather nicely, because you've got more Digimon there to trash when using Digiburst, which is good. But then we've got all those ridiculous Digimon that can just go a bit nuts with this. I mean, Omnimon X Antibody really comes to mind here as one which gets a little bit silly, because on your opponent's turn, when your opponent's Digimon attacks, you may trash 2 of this Digimon's Digivolution cards to end the attack straight out. Well, I can't be the only one that thinks that sounds a little bit good. What you're essentially doing here is adding 1 more card to your Digivolution cards, which is 50% of the way towards stopping an attack. And when we talked about Antibody, we did talk about there's more ways you can actually go about pumping your Digivolution cards, well, full of cards. It gets a little bit silly. So I'm drawing 2, I'm putting down extra cards, which are going to really help me in cards like this. This is a 4-Wassy card. This is one that is absolutely going to see play in the right deck. And I don't necessarily think it's for every deck, and that's okay. But I absolutely do think that being able to draw 2 while fleshing out your Digivolution cards to take advantage of some of these ridiculous skills, that seems a little bit good to me, ladies and gentlemen. It seems kind of silly good. But we also need to take a little bit of a look here at Meteor Shower. Now, this is a yellow option card, and it activates the card's main effect from the security, which makes me happy. And what it does is it lets you play a yellow Digimon card with Starmon in its name from your hand without paying its memory cost, which of course means that if it comes out as a security card and you don't have a Digimon with Starmon in its name, that is upsetting, shall we say. Now, it is a 3-cost card, so might I suggest not playing Starmons. Now, don't get me wrong, Starmons here, when you play it, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1,000 power for the turn for each Digimon you have in play. It's a nice little skill, but it's a 3-cost card, so why would you play a 3-cost card to play a 3-cost card for free? That don't make no sense, ladies and gentlemen. That don't make no sense. You could go for Shooting Starmon, which is a 5-cost, so you're saving 2 memory. On deletion, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 power for the turn. Shout out to DigimonCard.dev, by the way, for the translated proxies here. They are awesome. But the best use here is clearly the level 5 Super Starmon, which might be a vanilla, admittedly, but it's also a 6 cost to play normally, so essentially you are paying this for half of what you would be playing. Yeah. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that sounds a little bit good to me. That sounds like a really good way to go about saving memory. And okay, fine, it's a vanilla level 5, and it's not a particularly good level 5. I didn't give it a particularly good review first time round, but this really changes the context in which we look at Superstarmon. It's not a particularly impressive level 5, but a free cost level 5 that can be immediately digivolved up into a level 6. And I'm going to spoil the surprise here. I'm looking on DigimonCard.dev, best site for research. We've not seen a free cost level 5. Free cost level 5s do not exist in the Digimon TCG. So the fact that you can essentially have a free cost level 5 here is a little bit redonkulous, awesome, over the top, brilliantly, brokenly good. Again, this is a 4 WOSI card. I don't think it's going to come into every yellow deck. And I'm slightly put off by the fact, only slightly, but I am slightly put off by the fact that I need to have the Starmon card in my hand at the same time as having Meteor Shower in my hand. And obviously, if it comes out as a security card, I've got to have a Starmon in my hand in order to make sense of it. But again, if you think you've got one in, or you might have one in your security cards, you blatantly keep this in your hand, waiting so that you can essentially make the most of it. But either way, it's letting you play a level 5 for free cost, making it the cheapest level 5 yet, and that means it's an option card that fills my heart more than a little bit with joy. Now, there is one other yellow option card we need to take a little bit of a look at here. It is Spiral Masquerade. A 4 cost option card as a security. It activates the main effect, which is usually what we're looking for. And for each of your Digimon, activate the following effect. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 power for the turn. So essentially, if you've got 4 Digimon in play, you get to 4 times pick a Digimon and lower it by 3,000. So you could just take a 12,000 power Digimon and delete it, or you could minus 2 Digimon 6,000 each, or 4 Digimon 3,000 each, or some in-between measure. But the point is here, this sounds really good. Not to mention, we've already seen Lord Nightmon from this particular set. For each other Digimon you have in play, this Digimon gets plus 1,000 power, which is pushing you towards playing a little bit of a swarm deck. You know, you really want to be playing a deck where you are playing as many Digimon as you possibly can to really start taking advantage of this. So if you're playing that kind of deck and you really are trying to go about this, I could absolutely see I could see some use for this. I could see this being a really cool card. It's awkward because it really does depend on how many Digimon you've got on the field, and there are going to be probably too many games where you can't take the best use of this because you just don't have enough Digimon out. But if you've got 4 or 5 Digimon out, Spiral Masquerade seems amazing. If you don't, try and stash it for when you do, but it's not always that easy to just be like, I'm going to make sure I've got this many Digimon out. Well, maybe, ladies and gentlemen, maybe. Is it going to work? I don't know. I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wossies. I think this is a card with a huge amount of potential, but I am a little bit reticent in terms of how much that potential seems like it's going to come actually to bear fruit. That's a weird way to phrase it. What? You can actually fly? I like this card. Partly because it's green and I like green cards, and partly because Kiwimon is flat out adorable, but it's also really kind of fun. You can't actually fly. As a security card, you add it to your hand, which is, like I say, it's awkward because you've still got to pay free cost to play it normally, but at least you get to time it right. But you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and if they have a level 7 in play, you trash the top card of their security stack. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. This is one of the best option cards I think we've got in the game right now. And if that's hyperbole, if I'm going a little bit over the top, call me out in the comment section, all right? Call me out in the comment section. Tell me why you think I am wrong. I think this is absolutely over the top ridiculous. Bearing in mind, right, we have got a card that will recover your security. It's Holy Wave. It is a 6 cost, which is double the cost of this. So you're essentially getting rid of a card for 3 cost, and they've got to pay twice as much to get it back. I mean, that just sounds good to me, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds like we're kind of winning. Now, it's not the only one I should add here. We do also have a little bit of the old code cracking that says your opponent may trash their top security card if they don't recover 1. So this is either recovery or trashing a card, but it's still slightly more expensive as a 4 cost. And I know this isn't always going to work. I am fully aware that this you can actually fly isn't always going to fire. If your opponent knows that you're playing this in their deck, they may very well decide not to actually play their level 7. But you got to understand that if that happens, that's a win for you. If your opponent goes, ha 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 ha, I would usually play my level 7 here, but joke's on you, I'm not going to do it. Now you can't play your option card. Well, brilliant. That sounds absolutely fine by me. Because you know what? You are deliberately hurting yourself to try and hurt me. That's how I like to play the game, to be honest with you. I know it's not always going to fire, and that makes me a little bit sad here. But even if your opponent doesn't have a level 7 in play, it's Flower Cannon for 1 more memory. Now, obviously, you want to play Flower Cannon for 2 cost, not 3 cost. I fully understand you don't want to play Flower Cannon while paying an extra memory. I get that. That makes perfect sense. No argument here. What I'm saying is, if you can't use the amazing effect, you still get a slightly less efficient Flower Cannon. If you can, you get Flower Cannon, which is already a good option card, and we know Flower Cannon is a good option card, and you get to trash the top card of their security stack, so you're only really paying 1 memory to trash it. Come on. I cannot be the only one that thinks this is a nuts, flat-out, ridiculous, over-the-top 5 Wassy card. This is one of my favourite option cards I've seen in the game so far, and that's not hyperbole or clickbait or any of that rubbish. I mean very sincerely, if I go and look at all the option cards side by side, this might be my actual favourite. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Couple more option cards to finish off with, and then we are done. So join me tomorrow for that one. It's going to be fun. Although do remember, we don't just do card reveals on this channel when it comes to Digimon. We do everything. All the news, all the new decks you need to know about, anything Digimon related that you need to know, I will be bringing you, because I'm a little bit obsessed with this game, and you should be too. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about all these new option cards I've shown you, especially you can fly? So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy. That's where we talk a bunch of Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far, the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.